everyone, welcome back to my channel. So if you're planning to study in the UK and wondering whether it is really expensive, then this video is for you. I am currently doing my masters in the UK and living in Nottingham, and today I want to give you a completely honest breakdown of my finances with real numbers, so upcoming international students know exactly what to expect before moving here. So firstly, let's talk about education loan and tuition fees. To study in the UK, I took an education loan of 30 lakhs INR from a bank in India. Out of that total amount, around 30 lakhs INR went towards my tuition fees. However, out of that, 6 lakhs was paid initially as a deposit to secure my place, and the remaining amount was used for visa related costs, flight tickets and initial settlement expenses after arriving in the UK. I also made a little small chunk of deposit for my accommodation before coming here from my education loan. Many students think only tuition fees matter, but the reality is that there are so many other costs involved before you even begin your studies. So now let's talk about visa, flights and initial setup costs. So talking about my expenses, honestly, I think it would depend on what year did you come in and what would be the changes in the numbers. My UK student visa fee was around £490, which is around 60,000, and my health insurance was around £1,500, which was around again 1.6 lakhs and more depending upon the duration of your course. So flight tickets from India to UK can cost anywhere between 30,000 to 70,000 depending upon what season you're booking in and how early you book. I booked in the month of March and it cost me around 35,000. It was very cheap. It was a direct flight via British Airways. Yes, after you arrive, you also need money for the first time shopping, such as bedding, kitchen utensils, groceries, winter clothes, room essentials, toiletries, maybe adapters, or if you're planning to get a device or something of that sort, even that's an investment. So this can easily cost around 150 to 300 in the first few weeks. These are costs many students don't realize until they actually move abroad. Now let's talk about my monthly living cost, because this is one of the biggest concern for most students. My rent in Nottingham is 165 per week, which comes around 660 per month in a normal 4-week month, and sometimes slightly higher depending upon the calendar. So rent is definitely the biggest monthly expense for most students in the UK. But the good thing is that student accommodation often includes Wi-Fi and utility bills, so you don't have to pay anything additional apart from your total budget for your accommodation. However, if you compare this to London, Nottingham is much more affordable, which is one of the reasons many students choose to study here. If you compare it to London, student accommodation can easily cost you around £1,000 per month. So it's pretty expensive. So after rent, the next biggest expense is the groceries and personal spendings. So if I cook at home and plan my meal properly and avoid unnecessary spendings, I can manage my groceries and personal settlements within like 100 per month. This includes food, milk, vegetable, rice, snacks, toiletries and household items. However, sometimes when I eat outside often, order takeaways like go shopping or socialize more, then my expenses increase to around £150 or sometimes more monthly. However, in the UK, even like one takeaway meal can cost around £8 to £15, and like coffee can cost around £3 to £5. So these small costs can easily add up if you're not very careful. The other monthly costs, apart from rent and groceries, there are also smaller monthly costs to consider. My mobile SIM Libera cost me around like £10 per month depending upon the package obviously, but I usually go with the basic package because I have Wi-Fi everywhere. The Wi-Fi is literally everywhere, so you don't really have to get for more data. Apart from that, laundry, instant accommodation can cost you around 15 to 25 per month depending upon how often do you wash your clothes. Transport costs depend upon again how much you travel. If you use buses regularly, it can cost around 40 to 70 per month. But if you walk to university or nearby places, it can save you a lot of money. Talking about my accommodation, personally, I receive like a tram pass fee for a complete month, so I travel by tram and it saves a lot of money, to be very honest. How I manage my finances, one of the decisions that I think I made after arriving in the UK was I wanted to like start working immediately, and however this has helped me cover groceries, transport, personal expenses and reduce pressure on the money taken through my loan. For many international students, I believe part-time work can make life so much easier financially. Along with that, I try to cook at home, budget every month, and avoid unnecessary spendings. This is something that I promise myself every day, but sometimes some of the other things happen and I have to do an unnecessary spending, otherwise I just couldn't sleep at night. Lastly, is studying in the UK really expensive? My honest answer would be yes. Studying in the UK is expensive, but it is manageable if you plan properly. But it also depends upon your budgeting, discipline, and your choices to be very fair. Hope this honest breakdown gave you a clear picture of what to expect as an international student. So if you would like to see more content about student life in Nottingham, part-time jobs, accommodation tips, or my real journey in the UK, make sure to subscribe and be a part of this journey with me. See you in the next video.